be making today banana pudding. So I have all the ingredients here. So we have the bananas, we have the milk. So this is going to be more like a vegan, well, I wouldn't say vegan banana pudding, but it's non-dairy banana pudding. Okay. Okay, so first I'm going to make the pudding mixture. So I'm going to use make the pudding mixture, and I'm gonna first make the pudding mixture in the pot. Okay, so I'm gonna be using half cup of sugar, or I'll probably say a quarter cup of sugar for now, and then I can adjust it later on. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. It's a bit messy. Okay, so you can see the sugar kind of browning. Then I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of coconut milk. So I use the silk unsweetened. Okay, so just 1.5 cups of this. So when you pour everything in, you want to make sure that you're stirring the pot continuously to make sure that there's no lumps. So I'm just going to have the stove on more so of a low heat. You want to stir as much as possible until it gets thick with the cornstarch. So I'm going to turn the stove up a bit more, and you just continue to stir. Okay, it's kind of getting a bit thick. So you just can leave it for a bit and just let it thicken. So I'm going to turn the stove up around 3. So at this point I'm going to add some vanilla. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. Add just a bit of turmeric just for color. Yeah, just to give it that nice banana pudding color. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt. Actually, just a pinch. And then I'm just going to continue to whisk until it thickens. You can see it's starting to thicken a bit more as it heats up. So this takes about 5 or 6 minutes of continuous stirring for it to thicken up. So at this stage I might add just 1 more tablespoon of cornstarch. Whisk it so it doesn't get lumpy. while the pudding mixture thickens, I'm going to whip up the whipping cream. Okay, good. So it's starting to get thick right now. So I'm gonna have the recipe, the full recipe in the description. So in case it's kind of confusing right now with the measurements, so I'm gonna have a full recipe in the description with all the measurements. See, it's getting nice and thick. This is how it's supposed to look. So because I added more milk, I'm just gonna tip a bit more salt in there. Okay, so this banana pudding is really good. Has anybody ever tried banana pudding? Have you guys ever had banana pudding before? You guys can just write yes or no in the comments. Okay. Okay, it's thickening up really nice. So at this stage, I'm gonna add just a bit more milk to the pot. Like, I like to add the milk slowly as I go. I don't like to add all the milk all at once, but you can do that if you like. It's up to you. Okay, this looks really good. Just a couple more minutes. Okay, just keep stirring so that there's no lumps. So while that's sitting, I'm going to go over all the ingredients that I'm using. So for the pudding mixture, I use Himalayan salt. So I use the fine grained pink Himalayan salt. I use a bit of ground turmeric, some unsweetened coconut milk. I use a couple tablespoons of cornstarch. And I also use just a bit of vanilla. I might actually add a bit more to the pot. Okay. Okay, so this pudding mixture is almost done. After that, I'm gonna start with the whipped cream. Okay, I think this needs a bit more color. It's kind of bland. So I'm gonna add some turmeric to the pot and just a bit more vanilla, and then that's it for the first step. Okay, so for the biscuits, usually for banana pudding, usually most people, they use the vanilla wafers, but I actually really like the Jamaican Shirley biscuits, so that's what I'm going to be using for this recipe. So it's like really nice. anybody has ever tried Shirley biscuit, this one is really, really nice. They have different flavors. They have the coconut flavor, they have the chocolate. But because we're making vanilla pudding, I'm just going to use the original. Okay, but you can use the typical vanilla wafers that is usually used in banana pudding, but I really like the Shirley biscuit and the way it tastes. So I'll be using that. Okay, so this pudding mixture is thick enough. It's like nice and thick. So I'm gonna let it sit and cool for a bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna let the pudding mixture sit and cool, and while it sits, it will actually thicken up some more. Let that cool. Now I'm gonna head on to the whipped cream. Nice. All right, guys, give me a couple seconds. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. All right, so this is the whipped cream. This is the coconut milk. So I use some of the canned coconut milk. This is about 1 can of coconut milk, or 1 can and a quarter. Right, so I'm just gonna put the coconut milk. So I'm gonna add a bit of sugar to this. I'll say about a 1/4 cup of sugar. Add about a 1/4 cup of sugar for this. So I'm gonna actually be adding this to the banana pudding mixture. So I'm gonna add half of the coconut pudding, the coconut whipped cream to the banana pudding mixture, and the other half I'm gonna leave to top it off. Then I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of vanilla. About 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. So for this, in order to keep the coconut milk cold, I just added a bit of ice pieces to the bowl underneath, just to keep it cold so it can whip better. So it's coming together nicely. Not sure if you guys can hear me through the noise.
Hello guys, can you hear us?
Yes. Okay, so it's thickening up. You can see getting nice and thick. And my arm's getting so tight. Oh my god. A lot of work.
So guys, you could leave in the chat what's your favorite dessert.
Yes. And if you guys have ever had banana pudding before?
Not banana cake, banana pudding.
Yes, banana pudding.
Or banana bread, pudding.
Apparently, from what I know, banana pudding is a southern dish. Yeah, so it's a southern dessert. Oh yes. Like there's different ways to make it. Like some people they make it with the instant jelly pack, the instant banana pudding pack. So instead of making it on the stove like I did, they just use the instant banana pudding, which is faster. But I like the stove top version better.
Wow, look at that, you're getting so thick and
Yes.
expanding.
Yes. Yes, nice. Okay, just maybe about another minute and
Hey guys, remember to like up the live.
yes guys, like the live and tell us how you're doing today. How you're doing on this fine Saturday.
Yeah, where are you viewing from?
Yes. Okay, I think this is good now. Nicely whipped. Alright, look at that guys. Nicely whipped.
Nicely whipped.
Nice, and that's the reason why I like adding the ice cubes because it makes them whip faster. Okay, so I'm gonna have a taste test. So see if it needs anything else. Wow, this is perfect. Okay, this is great.
Hi Baby's Pizza, we're making banana pudding.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check on the pudding mix I made on the stove.
It's a dessert from Louisiana.
Yeah, I believe so. It's a southern dish.
So yes, a southern dish.
Yes, southern dessert. Okay, so this is the pudding mixture. I added more turmeric, like I said, guys, and more vanilla to the pot. Okay, so I'm gonna let it cool down just for a few more minutes. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna assemble the biscuits and also slice up the bananas. And for this, I'm also gonna be using non-dairy coconut yogurt. So I'm using the plain unsweetened. So this is a really nice plant-based yogurt. Okay, guys. So like this gives it like a nicer creamier taste.
Baby's Pizza, it's a dessert. Yeah, it's very tasty.
Alright guys, I'm gonna add just a bit of lemon, just a bit of lemon juice, put a whipped cream mixture. It just adds more of like a cheesecake texture, like with the lemon juice. So I'm gonna add half a tablespoon, just a little bit, Now I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit. Okay. All right, so it's gonna assemble. The pudding mixture into this. Okay, with the Shirley biscuits. Okay, so these are nice and small. So I'm just gonna put them and just make them nice and neat. Yeah, just like that. Make them nice and neat. Doesn't have to be too neat, it can be messy, it doesn't really matter. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna use another cup. You see what it looks like a good meal. Yes, it's a really nice dessert. And you can even use like biscuit cookies. I'm not sure if you guys know about that. To make this, you can use so many different type of different cookies. Some people use the chessmen cookies. So many different types. It depends on your own preference and taste. Okay, I like a lot of cookies in mine, so I'm just gonna add a bit more. Yes, just like that. Okay, so for the pudding mixture, I'm gonna add half of the whipped cream. Yes, I'm gonna add about half of the whipped cream to the pudding mixture. Then, like I said, I'm gonna reserve the other half for the top. Yeah. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of the coconut pudding. The coconut yogurt.
Hey guys, welcome. Remember to like up the live.
Not much. I'm just gonna add maybe like 1/3 cup of the coconut yogurt, guys. Okay, just adds a bit of extra creaminess, but this is optional. You don't have to add that. And then I'm just gonna mix. Oh, this is nice. I'm just gonna mix everything together. Okay, I'm gonna have the full recipe below. You guys can always adjust for sweetness and etc. Okay, let me just mix it a bit more. Just mix everything nice together. Yeah, just mix everything up. So I'm gonna put this back in the ice water and let it thicken a bit more. But you already know, guys, it's gonna thicken once you put it in the fridge. So for this, it's actually best to leave it overnight. You know, or even just to sit in the fridge just for 2 to 4 hours, but it's best used overnight, right? Because when everything just sets together, it's always better. Okay, now time for the bananas. So I'm gonna slice up the bananas and then just add it to the top. Okay, I didn't want to pre-slice the bananas because you know it will just turn brown. But if you want to pre-slice it in advance, you can just add just a little bit of lemon juice on top. It will help to prevent it from turning brown. All right, guys, so I'm just gonna slice up the bananas. Just nice and thin like this. See, just nice and thin. Okay, let me see what they're saying in the chat. What are you making? Okay. Nice. So just slice it up. Okay, I've only had this dish once before. It was really tasty. So this is gonna be my second time having this. You just layer the bananas on top. Okay, guys. Add as many bananas as you want or as little. Some people apparently don't like bananas in their banana pudding.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, like they don't like their bananas because, like, you know, the pudding mixture already, like the original pudding mixture is already made with banana.
Yeah.
So some people don't like the sliced bananas in theirs.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so, but for me, I love the bananas. So you guys can comment below, like, which one do you guys prefer? The banana pudding with bananas or no bananas in your pudding? Let's see. Okay, so for this, it's going to take about 4 bananas. Just slice them up. Okay, guys, this is a really simple, easy recipe. Doesn't take long to make at all. See, I'm already more than halfway done. Okay, add a couple more. Okay, now I'm gonna add half of this pudding mixture, guys, because I'm making 2 layers. Okay, so it might seem a bit like watery right now and not very thick, but it's gonna thicken once you leave it in the fridge overnight or even just for a few hours. Okay, so that's just half of the pudding mixture. Yeah, so it seems thin right now and runny, but trust me, it will get really thick in the fridge. Okay, just try to coat it so that the cookies can get nice and soft in the pudding mixture. Nice. Okay, now I'm going to do a second layer of the cookies, same as before. The cookies.
Not wasting anything.
Yeah, I'm not wasting anything. Every crumb, every crevice, every crease. Okay, so you just put the cookies. Check on the. Okay, we need some more of the last pack. Okay, nice. Okay, that should be good. Okay, and I'm gonna slice up some more of the bananas. Just layer the bananas on top. Okay, and then for the last banana, just add the rest of the pudding mixture. Let's add the last half of it. Okay, and just spread it nicely all around. Just nicely spread it. Okay, so now I'm going to top it off with the whipped cream. Okay. So this is the remainder of the whipped cream. I'm just going to top it off. Nice. Just like that. Okay, it's coming together real nice, guys. Look at that, it's so nice. Coming together real nice. Okay, there. Then you just add the finishing touch. So on this stage, guys, you can always add more bananas to the top. If you like a lot of bananas in yours. Okay, so I'm just gonna crush up some of the crackers, of the biscuits, and just put a bit on top. You know, since I like a lot of these cookies on top, I'm just gonna break some on top just for a little bit of decoration. Look at that, so nice. All right, guys, that's it. That's the banana pudding. Yes. Doesn't look all that great, but trust me, guys, it's a 10 out of 10. This is one of my favorite desserts. Look at that. Nice. All that cream, all that, the cookies, bananas, everything. So I'm just gonna place this in the fridge for a few hours, right? But I'm actually gonna do a taste test right now because it actually also tastes really good when it's warm as well. All right, guys. Okay, so we're gonna do a taste test. All right, guys, I'm just gonna cut a small piece. So the cookies are still a bit crunchy. Cookies are still a bit crunchy. And the pudding is nice and warm. Okay, so I'm going to do a nice taste test. Get some more of that cream. Guys, this is really good. This is amazing. Taste of the bananas with the cookies and the cream's really, really good. And this tastes even better overnight. So this will taste even better tomorrow. Yes, so guys, this is really good. I hope you guys try this at home. I'm gonna post a full recipe with all the measurements in the description and also in the comments, so you guys can make this and then comment below and tell us what you guys think of the recipe. Okay, guys, so this is dairy-free banana pudding. Okay, so there's no milk. I use coconut milk. I use coconut yogurt, so everything is dairy-free, guys. Okay, all right, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in, and see you guys in the next live. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I was about to say Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right, guys. Bye. Thanks
Hey
for
guys,
tuning in.
bye. I hope you enjoyed the live and try the recipe. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for watching.
All right. Bye,
And
guys.
we'll see you on the next live.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.